And of course, during that time, I didn't have a lot of projects, or I wasn't doing a business. But I was very busy. I worked, I was in the military, I was in school. So that's kind of almost the same thing. However, I had very good support systems with my parents, most of all. I didn't allow you to be just anywhere. I had to know who.
I'm sorry, you didn't allow who?
my child to be anywhere. I always knew where you were. For example, spending the night kind of thing. It wasn't so much the people who asked, could you spend the night? I would know them, but I'm thinking, I don't know who's going to be in their house. I don't know who's friends.
Who they're around.
Right, their children's friends, or their son's friends, their grandchildren's friends. So I made sure that, I knew where you were at all times, and I felt safe and comfortable, and I can do my work and do what I need to do because I knew you were. So if you have a business, you don't want to have to call home every 5 minutes, checking on your children. You already know they're safe and sound. They're going to have someone help them with their studies, help them when it's time to go to bed. It's all, you need all that. So it's just got to kind of have a lot of support.
Okay, so before we continue with the questions, if they haven't figured out by now, this is my mother, Marie Brown. I'm happy to have her on the show. We're getting a little personal here, but I feel women like myself who's watching, they need to know, because I get a lot of calls now in inbox, how did you get to where you are now? I get questions such as, you're doing so much in the community. I know you have a child, which I do. I promise you it is possible. And if I did not know that from anyone, it's from this woman right here. She had me at 16 years old, and she knew at that time she had to do something so I wouldn't become a statistic. You were very, I don't want to say strict, but at the same time, looking back, I'm so thankful. I remember sometimes I would say, well, can I go spend the night? And you would say, well, who are they? But if it wasn't family, my circle was real small. Not that we didn't trust those other people, but we didn't know the people they were around. Right. And so being a single parent is quoted. Sometimes, kids may get, molested, or foul things may happen. And it's because, single parent, both parents was not around. That's not always the case. But I knew that you had high standards. You, like anyone else, may not have made all the, great decisions, but you changed the game. You changed the situation. And of course, I'm a work in progress here.
And I keep in mind also, age has something to do with it too. Of
absolutely.
course, as you got older, I knew then you could somewhat defend yourself and protect yourself.
Well, I mean, I'm a different breed, Marie. I was always a little mature for my age now. So
the chip off the young block.
Oh, okay, yes, I like that. But I knew you, like you said, you went military, you went to school, you made a situation to become a great situation. So my next question would be in saying that, when do you know as a single parent that child is ready to, stay home by themselves, or you can allow them a little room to grow and do some other things while you're continuously working on yourself to make yourself great?
Well, first of all, you have to know your children. If you have 4 children, you have to understand they're all different individuals. 2 may be similar, may act a little alike, but overall they're all totally different. And you have to have prepared that a long time ago and got to the point that you know that, because from day one, actually, when you bring that baby home from the hospital, that baby says, a few months later, that baby's laying there going, now when I cry this way, that lady comes over and gives me some of that good, warm, sweet, white stuff that I like so much. And if I cry, scream, and shout, she'll pick me up.
Right.
But then now you, on the other hand, has to learn the baby. You're going to say, cry, I pick him up, I lay him down, I pick him up, he stops, I lay him down, he cries. So if he's dry, I know he's dry, I know I fed him, so why is he still crying? Okay, he's getting spoiled. So you're getting to know him too. So each child is different. For example, you were very,
you really want to go there with everyone? I mean,
I think I need to give a few examples.
Okay.
I think I do.
Okay.
Let's say, for example, you asked me before you turned 4, when you said, where does babies come from? And I explained to you in a very elementary manner as far as I could. My mother said, don't you think she's too young to be asking that? I said she wasn't too young I mean, isn't she too young for you to tell her this thing? I talked to her about this. I said she wasn't too young for me to ask the question. So, but I knew you, and I was getting to know you more and more, and I knew if you were lying to me. I knew, which that was rare. I didn't have,
of course.
I must say,
come on.
You were a good child. I didn't have a lot of problems or anything with you, but you have to know your children. You have to say, okay, Kimberly, I can probably trust, but John over here, I don't know.
Right.
You know, so you have to know. And then
let me stop you from, so just like you make those type of decisions with your child, with yourself, those are some decisions you kind of have to make when it's time to, or when you're trying to become a business person as well. And when you say spoiling the child, you kind of have to spoil yourself when it comes to your business. You have to plan according. You have to write that plan of action. That's spoiling, that's nurturing that baby.
Right.
There's not really a big difference.
You're right.
The same attention with that child should go into your business, especially being a woman. I don't want to really say minority women, but I will say that. You know, but in saying that, we kind of sometimes have to go the extra mile in making things noticeable, as far as branding yourself. So you've come a mighty long way. You've had many obstacles you've had to endure. So now, let's moving forward. You are in the community. You're doing great things. When did you know it was okay to kind of start with, okay, I got her situated. I can work on me now. I can work on my plan of action. When did you know that?
I knew it early on. However, I wanted to get you situated first. So when you started to really think about your education, further your education, then I'm thinking, okay, now it's just me, because of course I only have the one child.
Correct.
So now I have all this time. You know, I put you first. Before all that, I would always put you first and what your needs first. And I can remember when I started my projects and different things. I was like, hey, what am I going to do with all this time now? So now I can do it. Now I can buckle down and really work on it. Now you have so many women that is in business and doing things. They have small children, children of different ages. So they have to really try to juggle so much, you know, the business and the children. And it's hard for me to talk about that because you're all grown up now. But back then I had to make sure I had you taken care of first. I had to make sure I got all I may have to start a night before.
So sometimes a delay is not a no.
No, it's not a no.
It just you're getting warmed up. You know what you want to do, but
time is not quite right yet.
Right, but you know what you may want to do. So while you're being a full-time parent, why not still prepare for your business?
If you're a stay-home mom, for example.
Absolutely.
Especially stay-home moms.
Right.
They have it made in a way when it comes to business. Those children leave, you got all this time. And if you don't use it, then
you lose it.
You lose it. I like
you lose it.
If you don't use it, you lose it. So
that's good.
You know, that's where you got to take advantage of what you have.
Okay.
What you can do, when you can do it.
And you did do that, didn't you?
I did do it.
I'm a work in progress, don't you think?
I did do it.
Don't you think? You did good, didn't you? You can pat yourself on the back.
I get compliments all the time about how well I did.
Yeah, don't I know? Marie.
And I didn't have to pay anybody to tell.
I want my check when we get off of here. I just wanted to go a little bit more personal on my show from this segment. I appreciate you being on here. And this is just to let women know that it can be done. I say that every single segment, it can be. Did I say it's going to be easy? Ask Marie. No, it's not always easy. And you may not have the support that maybe she had at that time or the support that I may have at this time, but you're just going to have to figure it out. If you have to be a full-time parent during the day, the kids got to sleep at some point, then you may have to put those extra 3, 4, 5 hours in 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. But that sets you apart from the norm. That sets you apart from everyone else. If you really want it, you will find a way. I know that one segment on the radio, I always hear Steve Harvey say, quoting Steve Harvey, that if you want it that bad, you're going to work on it more than you actually sleep.
Exactly.
You know, sometimes, who really said we have to have 8 hours of sleep?
Sacrifice. You have to lose some sleep. You're gonna. You might have to get a part-time job, but that's when you put that sacrifice in. You have to do it. And
absolutely.
It's going to pay off later. It's going to pay off big.
It will.
And you will be happy.
And I want to say I really appreciate my mother being on the show today. Again, ladies, it can happen. I'm here to try to give you as much knowledge as I have, whether it's coming from me, people who've experienced it, guests Ron have on the show. It wasn't easy for anyone. It can be done. Okay. It can be done. Marie, thank you for being on the Meek Brown Show today. I may have you back. Maybe. I hope this was a proud moment for you as it was for me.
Every day, always.
You want to elaborate on that part? No, I'm just kidding.
Do I need to tell them to have a sweet Meek week?
Now see what I mean? You give them an inch.
I won't say it though.
They got to go a mile. Let's just stop right there. No, thank you so much, Marie. And I look forward to having you to come back again real soon. Oh, stop it. Oh,
smooches.
Look, stop it. Thank you all for watching this segment of the Meek Brown Show.
Welcome back to the Meek Brown Show with the Many Faces of Leadership segment with Ron Harvey. And today we have Keisha Hayes with Professional Development and Training Services, known as PDTS. And good morning, Keisha. It's a pleasure to have you here this morning.
Good morning, Ron. Thank you for having me.
Yes. And so what we do on the Many Faces of Leadership is what we want to do is highlight and have our viewers understand the different roles of leadership throughout our community. And so it's a pleasure to have you here. And so I kind of like to go ahead and get started into our questions and our conversations. So when you think of leadership, you're the owner and you're the CEO of PDTS. Mm-hmm. And that's been something that I know enough about, but I want you to share with the viewers today. But I'll start with the first question. When you look back at leaders that's been in your life, who's a leader that's played a vital role for you, and what is it that they've done and the impact that they had on your life?
There are so many people that have had an impact on my life, and I would like to highlight one in particular. And of course, you're one, but I want to highlight someone else because I get to do that for you so many times.
Yes.
So her name is Alfred May Drayford, and she's currently the mayor for Camden, South Carolina. And the reason why she impacts me so much is because her actions follow her words. Okay. And I think that's very important because I've been taught that when you say you're going to do something, then you need to do it and follow up.
Okay. And so she's the mayor of Camden, yes, and a mentor, and sounds like she's made a huge impact. What is the impact that she's made on your life?
The impact on my life from her is that watching her be consistent in everything that she does as a leader makes me want to show up and do the same thing. So now I know that when I say something, I have to follow through with it.
Okay. So when you look at someone such as yourself, and you look at the mayor for Camden, when you think of characteristics, what kind of comes out for you that leaders need to know as we look at the world? What are some of the characteristics that are super important for you when you're looking at leaders?
Well, there are two for me.
Okay.
One, consistency is very important. Okay. You have to stay consistent in everything that you do. And that's just not consistency for marketing your business or staying out there in the public eye, but actually being consistent with who you are as a person. You have to show up that same way all the time. And also being resilient. You have to be able to face adversity and be able to bounce back because you are going to face many, many challenges. Okay.
Which leads me to a great question. As a business owner, you're a mother of two, and you're running a business, and you're doing this almost like it looks like for our viewers, you may make it look easy. Mm-hmm. What are some of the challenges that you faced from a leadership standpoint, running a company, being a mother, and being a person in this community that people are paying attention to? What are some of your challenges that you'll share with us?
Well, that's a great question, and I'm very proud to answer that. It's been hard, very difficult, and the challenges for me as a single parent is that you have to find ways to make things happen around being able to still show support and focus for your number one priority, and that's your children. And being that your children are your number one priority, you have to have other people in place that will assist you in doing that because you can't have everyone around that will put an influence on your children. You have to know specifically who they are and who they're being influenced by, and they have to model the same values that you have for them and yourself.
Yeah. And so who do you use, or what do you normally go to as a source for you to make sure you're getting that right as a leader?
I use so many different sources. One, I have a coach who's amazing, and I'm sure everybody knows I talk about Ron all the time. He
Yes.
is my coach. And I'm very happy because I have learned and grown tremendously personally and professionally. So you're my go-to source for making sure I stay on track and answering questions that I may not know the answers to. Also, I have a great support system from my family who knows exactly what I need, exactly what my values are, and they make sure that they stay aligned to those and help my children do the same.
Yeah, and I think that's super important for our viewers to understand that as you go up the ladder of success, it's super important that you continue to pour or find someone to pour into you. So for our viewers that are paying attention, when you think about leadership, it's a journey that never ends. And so what you're saying here to us this morning is you're growing. And so I guess the question for me that I really want to ask for you is, what advice would you share with someone that's either a single mother or a female entrepreneur or just an entrepreneur period, because guys will listen to us as well. What would you share with our community that as advice to get this right or to stay in the game?
One of the things that I would like to share with the community is that you have to make sure that no matter how hard it gets, you still show up in a very unique way and the right way. Because I've always been taught, and I learn all the time from you, that you're one way or one step away from either going in the right direction or going backwards. So you have to make sure that every action that you portray out there to the community, that you're doing it in a genuine way, because people feel and they know when they see authenticity.
Yeah, which is important for most people, is being genuine and authentic. You know, we used to say the old saying, fake it till you make it. But with society and social media, that's unrealistic anymore, to fake it till you make it. So I think it's super important for our listeners to truly understand that who you are, people need to see. And people will follow people that they trust. And so I think you're doing a wonderful job in the community, and you'll continue to grow. And so when you talk about your growth, what do you do to make sure that you continue to grow? And so I would like for you to share that, because some people don't know how to grow, why they need to grow, and who they need around them. What do you do to make sure you're constantly growing?
And I've been there with the not knowing how to grow, who to talk to, what to ask. But one of the things that I found that is most important is that you have to ask questions. You have to receive help. You have to ask for help. And just because you need help doesn't mean that you're weak or that you are inferior. You need other people because you don't know everything. And I believe doing that just makes you grow. Also, you have to invest in yourself. Go to seminars, workshops. I just attended your conference, Live to Lead. It was very powerful. And you have to make sure people are pouring into you so that you continually feed into your leadership potential. Yeah,
and that's awesome. So hear that. It's super important for us to always invest in ourselves and find people to give us the things that we don't necessarily have. So it doesn't make you weak if you're running an organization. And as you get to the top, the air does get thinner. So as you're running your organizations, it gets really difficult, and you have to make decisions that will impact people that depend on you every day. And so I think it's important that you continue to grow yourself. You know, so you're at the school, you're at PDTS, and you're making an impact on the lives of a lot of people. What are the values and things that you want to pour into these people, other than just what you're teaching them from a technical standpoint? What is important for you as far as values that you want to pour into these individuals?
I want them to leave professional development and training services knowing that they make a difference for someone else. That when they go out and take care of these individuals that we're training them to do, I want them to understand that it's them. It's everything that they do. It's their makeup. It's how they talk. It's everything about their whole being, and being professional is what is exemplified to others. And it's not what you say to someone, but it's indeed how you make that person feel. And we just want them to have an impact on everybody that they communicate with or take care of.
Yeah, and I think that's super important. And it's good to hear you say that as a leader. And you've written a couple of books, and you're currently writing another book. When you look at why you do what you do, where do you get that from as a leader? Where's that coming from?
It's an intangible thing for me. It's the intangible, and that intangible for me is God. Okay. I'm a Christian first, and the faith that's within me allows me to reach for something that is not able to be grasped in the world. So I'm reaching, and I'm grabbing, and I'm longing for something that's so overwhelming, but so great And the thing that keeps me focused and grounded is him. And he gives me the strength that I don't even know that I have some days to continue.
Yeah. So when you talk about that, Keisha, and you look at that, you're using faith, and sometimes you don't get to see where God is taking you, and you make it look easy. I mean, people are watching Keisha all over, and she's doing a great job, but you make it look easy. What would you share with our viewers so they don't get confused that it is easy?
Okay, that's a great question. It is not easy at all, and I will never say that it is. Yeah. I will say that just having whatever it is that you go to for your strength makes it that much easier. And then also, too, remembering the why behind why you are doing what you do. If you're broke, you don't have anything in the bank account, if everybody's left you because they think you're crazy because you want to be an entrepreneur and you left your job and you were doing very well, and how can you just leave a job where you're making a good amount of money and start your business? You don't know the direction that you're heading. But you know the why. You know the reason behind what you're doing. And in the midst of everything that you face, that keeps you going.
Yeah. Wow. And so when you think about it, there comes a time for every entrepreneur, they have to make it through that point of where the people that you start with are not the people that you finish with. And so speak to how has relationships changed for you? Their circles have changed for you as a leader. How has that changed since you have stepped out on this thing that sometimes people think is crazy? How has that changed for you? Because that's tough for some people.
It is tough. I've never really had a large circle.
Yes.
But the individuals that are a part of my circle, they are the ones that support me. But I will say as a leader that you have to be careful with who you're surrounded by. Yeah. And you have to sit at the table with individuals that will impart things back to you that will help your growth. Yeah. If you're the only one in your circle that's giving advice and doing things for others, and no one is ever putting anything in you, investing in you, then you're sitting at the wrong table. Yeah. You have to surround yourself with individuals who will help uplift you. And as you lift, you're able to, or as you climb, you're able to lift someone else behind you. But it's very important to know who you're being influenced by, as you say all the time, and to make sure that you are surrounded by individuals that will push you further. And not limit yourself, because if you limit yourself to people that are in your circle, yes, and just those individuals, then you don't get to make an impact on others that are outside of that.
Yeah, and I think that's super important, is that for us to pay attention to who we're being influenced by, and at the end of the day, all of us are being influenced, and we're also influencing someone. Right. So I think it's oftentimes that we all have to pause, recognize how we're growing, why we want to grow, who do we need around us as we grow. You know, so I know you're doing some phenomenal things in the city. And so for your organization, is there anything that you want to share with us, you know, and our viewers that you're doing in the city that you want people to be aware of?
Well, I want everybody to know that at Professional Development and Training Services, we are developing exceptional caregivers to provide excellent care to aging beauties. And aging beauties are individuals who are seniors. And I've created that name because they need to be valued and they need to be reverenced. They need to be shown that they matter. And because of them, we can. And also, we want to make a difference in the community, allowing people to understand just how important our foundation is with our seniors and how they've made a way for us, and to teach individuals who are going to be caring for them that it's very important that they do it in a way as if they were caring for themselves or for a family member.
Yes. And I'll tell you that, you know, getting to know Keisha and the work that she does, I have elderly parents. And so I've learned so much that when they become elderly parents as aging beauties, that most often we don't know how to take care of them. So we want to pay attention to what you're doing. And I think everybody can use this. This is one thing I have a lot of clients. But this is the one client that's doing something that everybody can use, because our parents will get older and we will have to care for them. And sometimes we don't know how, and it's frustrating and it's very taxing on the family. So thank you for doing what you do. You also have a gala coming up. Would you share that with our community?
Sure, thank you. On December 2nd, 2017, in Camden, South Carolina, we will be celebrating caregivers all around South Carolina for all of the hard work that they do. And I believe that caregivers do not get the appreciation and the recognition that they so deserve. Yes. So this gala is to help show them that we do care. And if anyone has a caregiver from their healthcare entity that they want to support or send to the gala, they can actually do that to give them a form of recognition. Because even though we sometimes recognize people privately, having that public recognition, it boosts their morale and it creates a culture where they feel empowered and inspired.
Awesome, awesome. And I'm all about changing the culture. So how do people get in touch with you if they wanted to reach out to Keisha Hayes? How do they reach you?
They can reach me at 803-420-1930, or you can visit our website at pdtsllc.com.
Yes, and thank you for being a guest on the show. Once again, Keisha Hayes with the Many Faces of Leadership on the Meek Brown Show. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to you tuning in every Thursday at 9 p.m.
I would like to thank our viewers who always support the Meek Brown Show. I would like to thank Ron Harvey of Many Faces of Leadership, as well as our guests, Keisha Hayes and Marie Brown. If you'd like to be a guest on the Meek Brown Show, you may email us at meekbrown@themeekbrownshow.info. You may also give us a call at area code 404-667-5073. As always, stay tuned to the Meek Brown Show and have a sweet, Meek week.